Hi, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade leaders. We are getting ready for July 29th, and we are talking about Joseph this week as we start our series called Amped. In this series, we want for kids to look at the example of people from the Old Testament and the New Testament and how they found ways to live on purpose with God. That through these different examples, we learn different things about who God is. This week we're going to concentrate on God being with us. Of course, this is the story of Joseph. You know, I don't know if you've studied the story of Joseph recently, but Joseph is such a great example of endurance. And he went through a lot of things, and we're going to call those highs and lows. As you get started with your small groups today, you have a index card box that has a whole set of Uno cards in it. Many of your kids will know how to play Uno, but for those who don't know how to play Uno, have fun with this. These social activities are for you to start building a relationship with a kid so that when it comes time to have a discussion and for them to share what's going on in their life, they have something, they've built kind of a relationship with you to where they can trust you and they can see that you're human and see that you care for them and that you're paying attention to all the details in their life, even while playing a game. I know as we've introduced all kinds of different games to the kids in the last several months, many of them walk in real regularly and ask for those games again. So I'm hoping that this would become one of those games that the kids are excited to be a part of because of their interaction with you. That's the main part. All right, and then we'll move into large group and we'll teach the Bible story of Joseph from our videos and our worship songs. And then you'll move into your small group. And in your small group time, you will have a bag that has a ball of yarn in it and some white cards. Those white cards are Joseph's ups and downs cards. And what you're going to do is take those cards and give each kid in your group one of those cards. Now, if you don't have enough kids for all of the cards, give some kids more than one card. Use your discretion on that and figure out what's best for your group. And then what you're going to do is take those cards and try to put them in order of the story of Joseph's life. You may need to review that with kids as you go. And then the instructions encourage you to take the yarn and to make kind of like a roller coaster where you can see what a high is and see what a low is with your yarn. If you wanted to do that a different way by setting up different things around your table that make like naturally some highs and lows, like some towers and stuff, feel free to do that. Be as creative as you want to be on that. This is just so that everybody can do it whenever they want to. Or if you just want to write on a piece of paper, I'll make sure to have some paper in there for you, highs and lows, and separate all of this pieces of the story into highs or lows. You can do that as well. We want for kids to understand what a high is and what a low is, and to begin to sort out in the middle of all of that. Sometimes we all can look at a high and know for sure that God was with us, but what stretches our faith and what helps us to live more fully alive with God is to, even in those lows, realize that God was with us in the middle of all of that He was working a bigger plan than any of us ever understood. Then you have your memory verse activity. And this memory verse activity is just for this week because I thought it was too good to leave out. So your supplies will be in your bag with your yarn and your paper. And what you're going to do, and I think my cup is actually too big, so I'll get some smaller cups, is you're going to pour all of the water into the cup. And I'm going to get some smaller cups, so it should look like it's about to spill over. So that's why you have this little towel right here. And then what you're going to do is give each kid a cotton ball. And they're going to start dropping their cotton balls in the water one at a time. And then there's some really great discussion questions there for you to talk about and to see visually what it means to have life in the fullest way possible. So the cotton balls are going to help represent who we are. If we're not submerged in who God is and understand and working always to understand every day who God is, then when all of us are going to have a more difficult time when those lows hit to see that God was in the middle of it all. So enjoy that activity. I can't wait to walk around and see how that's working for everybody. And then you're going to pray for your kids. I hope and I'm praying that as you introduce all of this to the kids, that you'll be able to, during your prayer times, really get to have a sweet time with the kids and sharing some real needs that they're trusting God for. Those prayer times are where we're continuing to build community and continuing to get kids' trust and helping them more than anything to see who God is. I know for me personally, it is in those prayer times and where I am on my knees begging God for things that my eyes are open and I see Him in a new way. So I am praying that your kids begin to experience that in the exact same way. Thank you so much for leading. Thank you for what you're building with kids. I know these summer months have been long, and at times it feels like an extra. It's a lot of extra to give to being at church and pouring into kids. But I can't tell you how many families we have coming very regularly now that this is some of the very first times that they've ever heard that there is a hope, that their kids have ever been loved on, that they have not been told every time that they show up that they're horrible and they're no good and all of these other things. These are conversations I have weekly with families, that because you are building a small group and building that relationship with the kids, the kids beg all week, is today another day I can go to church? Is today another day I can go to church? So thank you so much for all that you build into the relationships with kids so that they can see Jesus and know that He is always with us. Have a great week.